Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the HerStory TV and the HerStory Podcast. This is Gertrude Matcha here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome to our tribe. Before I start, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today. Welcome to the show, everybody. Now to my amazing guest, please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Hi, I'm Elease Hunt, also known as EA Hunt. I am based in Atlanta, Georgia, USA, and I am 42 years old. I am a published author for Amazon Kindle under the name of EA Hunt. I have been writing since I was a freshman in high school. In that time, I learned that my creativity is what pretty much defines me. I would put on little shows in my bedroom and sometimes in my bathroom of a beginning, a middle, and an end. And in those shows, there would always be this bit of strife that the main characters, which happened to be me, and an imaginary hero in my stories, they would have to go through something in order to find their happy endings. That led me to my writing. I have several flash drives and totes that have stories in them. Some are finished, some are not finished, but they are always filled with love. They're always filled with something that everyone is looking for. No matter your race, your creed, where you are located at, you are looking for love. And I try to put that forth in my books. I try to make sure that everyone kind of gets their comeuppance if you're a villain, or even if you're not a villain and you're someone that stands in the way a little bit of the main characters finding their happy ending, then you always get something you're not expecting. You can be rejected, or you can just kind of fade away in the story. That's how I do it. Uh, I always find that being creative is a little difficult. I am a bit of a procrastinator. I'm sure a lot of people in the world are. So when I start a new book, I always procrastinate. I will write a couple of chapters and then stop and not pick it up again for a few days, which kind of frustrates my editor, I believe, because she's always expecting a story at a certain time that I've given her, and it never really comes on time. It's always 24 hours late. But my stories are always filled with exotic locales. Well, places I feel are exotic because I haven't gone to many places, but they're always filled with interesting locations. They're always filled with interesting people. May they be side characters or main characters. I find myself pulling inspiration from people around me or just my life in general. I've written several stories about single moms or single dads because I am a single mom. I have a 22-year-old daughter and I have a 7-year-old daughter. And I always want to put out there that single parents need love too. They may have a tough time finding it, um, but they need it too. They need someone they can bounce something off of, or someone that can hold them when they're having a bad day or when they're having a good day. So I give people hope. I hope that I give people hope when they read my stories, so that they can see that there is someone out there for them. There is a person that just hasn't met them yet, that they haven't been in, um, they haven't walked the path with them yet or crossed their path, is a better way of saying that. Um, some people do ask me where all this creativity comes from, and I tell them it comes from my late mother. that she believed in watching her stories, which were the soap operas. And she watched them, but she also was a writer in her younger years. My grandmother, her mother, told me that she would write and that she'd always dreamed of becoming a writer, but she became a mom. So we kind of hindered her a tad bit from becoming a writer.
What an amazing story. Not
Thank
many
you.
people have the courage to put pen to paper. They say that the richest places in the world are graveyards because they're full of people who had amazing stories, interesting ideas, and they didn't have the courage to write it down. So, if there was somebody like that right now who's watching this interview and is needing some advice based on what you've learned about your writing, what three nuggets of wisdom would you give them so they can get
um,
started?
One of the nuggets of wisdom I would give them was to just start. I literally, any book that I have five different versions of it. There's the one where I just sit down and just straight write. There's a version where I go back and change things. There's a third version that actually makes it to the editor. But then when the editor sends it back to me, I go through it one more time to make sure that I have put everything in there that I need to. So if you just sit down and just start writing, that is how you get started. You can sit and have a story in your head forever and never put it pen to paper. But if you get a pen and paper or you get an app on your phone and just start writing, then everything will flow. Another thing I would tell a budding author is once you have it the way that you want it, make sure you get a great editor. I've had several over the time that I've been doing this, and they have all been great. They've all been amazing. And I love each and every one of them because they've helped me move on in my journey. And the third thing I would tell someone is don't get discouraged. Everyone gets a bad review. You can be the greatest actor in the world, and someone will not like what you've done. So if you do get a bad review, I know I've had several, take the time, take a breath, and then if this is something that's in your heart that you feel is in your soul, then do it again. Keep putting it out there. I have several novels that are out there that some people have given me 1-star reviews on or given me 2-star reviews on it. I've had a little bit of depression about it, but I still move on with it. Because this is in my heart, it's in my soul, and I love doing it.
Yeah, I think the main focus is do what you love, right?
Yes,
Regardless of what other people think.
yes,
And the
completely.
problem is that most of the times we're looking for affirmation from outside of ourselves, from people around us. And when we don't get it, we get disappointed. Yeah, I don't read reviews because there's so many negative people out there.
There
And
are.
one of the things I've also learned is that there's a 33% rule to anything you'll do in life, whether you're writing a book, you're selling a service, or you're selling a product. 33% of people will love you, they will adore you, they'll read everything you write. 33% of people will hate you. They are the haters out there. So be prepared for it.
Yes.
And 33% of people just don't give a damn. They're just not interested. It's not their thing. They don't pay attention. So you will find your little niche of the 33% who get you, who love you, who will consume all of your content. So that is a beautiful reminder as well. So let's now take you forward to your future.
Okay.
You're now 100 years old. You have your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, your dogs, and your cats surrounding you as you sit on your porch watching the sun go down. If you could have a conversation with that future you based on how you're living your life right now, what would you say to her?
Everything's going to be okay. You will have your downtimes. You will have your times where you think you can't make it, but everything's fine. Everything's going to work out one way or the other. I am a firm believer in karma. I'm a firm believer in fate. So fate moves you about the way that it's supposed to. So you can have a bad day, but the next day could be a great day. Or you can feel like you're going to be alone for the rest of your life, but that's not true. You'll find your soulmate. You'll find someone who understands you. So I believe if 100-year-old me could talk to younger me, that's what they would say, that everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to. You're going to live the life that you are supposed to live, and you're going to move through life the way you're supposed to move through it.
Oh, I love that. So, what is your creative writing process? We all have ways that things come to us. For me, sometimes I wake up and I've got a poem full in my head and I can't write it down fast enough, or something will happen during the day that then develops into a story. What is your writing process?
Something has happened during the day and it's a full story. My process is twofold, actually. I could be sleeping and then wake up, and the beginning of a story or the middle of a story is just flowing in my head. Or I can walk down the street and I see this guy staring at this lady and he wants to talk to her. And then I'm like, that would be an interesting scene in a story. What story can I write around this 5 second moment that I've had? So I started a new job. And while I was starting my new job, a story came to me while I'm sitting at the desk. So I had to get out my phone and put down at least an outline of it. So my process is just everyday life. I could be sitting in my car and a story will come to me. It's how my brain works, and it's how I can process and make everything flow smoothly onto a paper.
Oh, I love that. I love it. So you're really an observer of life. You don't let anything go past you. Yeah, it's so I take mental pictures. It's almost like my brain takes a snapshot. Like you're saying, the guy who's looking at a woman, I come home with mental pictures of these potential scenes that can unfold into a magical romantic story, for
Yes,
example.
yes, exactly. And it's very interesting. My very first novel was actually a dream. Like I had a whole dream about this couple, and when I woke up, I just knew that it needed to be written, and it ended up being like 200 pages. But
Oh,
it was just something that
wow.
I just had to do it. I had to put it down and make sure that I had everything perfect for it.
Oh, I absolutely love this. And so now with your writing, how can people find you? Where do they find your books? Is it on your website? Is it on Amazon?
Okay, so I have a website, which is EA Hunt Publishing. Um, I also am on Amazon, Goodreads, Booksprout, and I have an Instagram page that is EA Hunt Official. So all links and all books are on those different platforms.
Fantastic. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing how we can interact and play with you going forwards. We have a lot of aspiring writers within our circle who could do with your help. Do you coach other people to write as well?
I do. I've had family members or friends of family members ask me what they need to do, and I give them advice. I tell them interviews like what I'm doing with you guys helps, but your first step is to actually just sit down and start writing. Just sit
Yeah,
down and start um, find something that'll motivate you to start moving. Because the first step for anything is just to take that step, is to
yeah,
actually just, I was fearful of putting my first novel out, thinking people would hate it, but they didn't. They loved it. And I'm still loved. And that was almost 10 years ago. So the first step is to actually take that leap, is to actually start just writing.
fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming online. Is there anything I should have asked you that I left out of this interview?
No, I think you have everything. I think we've covered it all.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who tuned in today. The Her Story movement is attracting some phenomenal women, talented, creative, who are sharing their stories to uplift and inspire. So be back again tomorrow when I interview yet another fascinating guest. In the meantime, have a good day wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. Thank you so much for the interview.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye.